The entire social media and the news channels are filled up with far too many people claiming the credit that must rightfully go to our Olympians who brought us so much of honor and laurels to the country. And that gives me a topic to share thoughts on this, my friend. Claiming credit that we don't deserve. Claiming credit is adding actually insult to injury that comes with overlooked recognition. We are only depriving people of the credit they deserve, but we are bogging it for the actual deservers, and we are doing it, I think, bogging it to ourselves. It's two crime in one, I feel. Imagine those moments, my friend, in life, whether it's a school kid or an adult in the workplace, when he did something wonderful and waited for precise appreciation and congratulation, and waited and waited, and it goes to somebody else. And let me tell you, my friend, this happens all the time. It is as if they are stealing our ideas, our performance, our self-esteem, our life. We didn't like it there, when it happened to us as a children, and these stakes generally involve little more than our teacher's approval, but we actively hate it when it happens to us as adults, in part because these stakes in terms of our careers and financial rewards are so much greater than our school days or maybe childhood. When someone you work with steals the credit for a success that you created, they are committing the most rage-inducing interpersonal crime, I suppose. This is the interpersonal flaw that generates more negative emotion than any other in the feedback interviews when as a HR when I get it. And it creates a bitterness that's hard to forget. You can forgive someone for not recognizing your stellar performance. You can't forgive that person for recognizing it and brazenly claiming it as his or her own. If it happens to you, my friend, you know how hard it is to shed that bitter taste. Now turn the tables and imagine that you are a perpetrator rather than the victim. If you look closely, you will see that the claiming credit that we don't deserve is another sibling of the need to win. You shouldn't claim someone else's resume or the college degree as your own. That's because those achievements are well documented. Your claim can be challenged. But when it comes to determining exactly who came up with the winning phrase in a meeting, or who held together an important client relationship during a rocky phase, the evidence gets fuzzy. It's hard to say who deserves the credit. So given the choice between grappling the credit for ourselves or leaving it for someone else to claim, we all fall into the success traps described earlier. I've talked about it earlier, that people have this feeling that I can succeed and I will succeed. I have succeeded. I choose to succeed, and give ourselves the benefit of the doubt always and every time. We claim more credit than we have earned and slowly begin to believe it. And in the meantime, the victim of our injustice are seething. If you know how you feel as a victim, you should know how people feel you, about you for doing the same thing. It's not a pretty picture, isn't it? Absolutely not. There is no telling what a group can achieve when no one care who gets the credit. We know that in our bones. We know it because we remember how good we feel about our colleagues when they are accorded us the credit we deserve. So why don't we reciprocate when someone else deserves the credit? Maybe I don't have the answer for that. Even if we have the legitimacy, or as the parents of our upbringing, or some pretty slides in high school or in our credit hogging, that doesn't begin to solve the problems. It's focusing on the past, which means we cannot change, rather than arming ourselves with concrete, actionable ideas for the future. They have the best way of to stop being a credit hog, or I would say credit GV in Hindi, is to do the opposite. Share the wealth. And there is a simple drill that will transform you from a credit miser to a credit philanthropist. For one day, my friend, or longer if you can handle it, make a mental note of every time you privately congratulate yourself on an achievement, large or small. Then write it down. If you're like me, you will find that you pat yourself on the back more often than you are think during a normal day. For everything from coming up with a big idea for a client to show up on the time for a meeting, to a dashing off to a clever, not to a colleague. We think as we survey our beautiful handwork, we did good. My friend, there is nothing wrong with these private thoughts. This pleasure that we take it, our own performance, is what keeps us merely motivated as we chug our way through a long, arduous day. And I wouldn't be surprised if one day yielded 24 episodes of self-congratulation for each of us. Once you assemble the list, take apart each episode and ask yourself if it is in any way possible that someone else might deserve the credit for your achievements. If you showed up on time for a meeting across town, is it because you are heroically punctual and thoughtful, or was it because your assistant hounded you that morning about the meeting and actually chased you off by a phone call and made sure that you are on the out of the door to get across the town in sufficient time? If you come up with a good idea in a meeting, did it spring unbidden from your fertile imagination? Or was it inspired by an inside comment from someone else in the room? Give it a thought on these lines, my friend. It's possible, as you review that your list, you conclude you deserve all credit, but I doubt even the most self-involved among us would see things more myopically. You have a strong bias to remember events in the light most favorable to us. My friend, this small exercise, this small drill will expose us that bias and makes us consider the possibility that someone else's perspective is always closer to truth. This habit of claiming credit that we don't deserve is the most negative factor and a bad thing in any personality. Get rid of it. Thank you very much.